Alright, back again, Luke here, and as you can see in front of you, this is that Pole Position 2 board that I've been messing around with for the longest time, and thanks to everyone who had put up a lot of advice. A lot of people had found links for the Pole Position boards, and a lot of the links that were found were for the Pole Position Atari version. I went and I checked all the links that everyone had sent, and I really appreciate all the links. One particular guy or YouTuber goes by the name of River Bridge Wind actually found the pinouts for this this board, the Namco board, and it was actually on a Japanese site. And it is pretty amazing because I had tried to look around and see if I could find anything in the Japanese sites for this particular board, but he was able to find it. And by doing so, I was able to wire this thing up. Now I just got this thing wired up here, as you can see on this top row here. This is just, you know, it's just temporarily put in place because I want to make sure that this thing worked. But on this first row of pins over here, this 20-pin connector, you can see that there's 4 pins here. These 4 pins on the right side, these are for your speaker pluses. These are front speaker plus, what is it? Front left speaker plus, front right speaker plus, and on the bottoms, they are the grounds for those. Next to that, there is your red and blue and ground for your RGB. Underneath that, there is green, and there's a sync right next to it. So that's where your color comes from. Like I said, I was just trying to put this on here as quickly as possible just to see if the board would fire on. And got that on there. On the bottom row of pins here, I have a couple of wires wired up. This is the start button and a coin in and just a regular ground button here. And on this harness, this is where all the voltage comes from. And as you can see here, there's a +12, a ground, and a +5. Now, it's interesting because on the bottom board, there's also a connector here, and what it does is it just kind of loops around. So you have +12, ground, and 5. And if you go down here, you go +12, ground, and 5. So it almost goes around like this, you know, +12, ground, 5, +12, ground, 5. And I connected them like this, kind of like a zigzag. And wired it all up here. This is not a board, this piece of thumb board that I had, or fingerboard that I had, wasn't exactly the correct size, so I had to chop it and move a couple of pins together, but just wired them up here, and it does turn on. The board actually does get power. Now, I was messing around with the speakers trying to get sound out of it, and after a couple of attempts, I realized that what I had read online, this thing actually has a amplified speaker setup. So it needs an amp for it in order for the sound to come out. So I wasn't able to get any sound, but as of right now, it does turn on. So I figured I'd let you guys see that and at least be able to see the board in action here. So I got the Kix 91 all set up, and let's kill the lights here and give this thing a go. Hopefully, if the lights shut off. Now let's click the switch, and you can see here, it's going through its kind of test. Bam! Look at that. Pole Position 2. It actually turns on. I am so super happy that this game is still working. 1982, 1983. I mean, this game, the board is 30 years old, you know, and it's still running. I ripped out all the EEPROMs, cleaned them up, put them back in. There might be 1 or 2 EEPROMs, either that or else there's a couple of ceramic capacitors that aren't making a good connection, because sometimes there's a little bit of a glitch in the board itself, in the screen. But other than that, I mean, this board, you know, it was considered dead, and it was just sitting there in that pile of boards. I mean, who knows the last time this thing was turned on. And after taking out all those EEPROMs and cleaning them up and wiring this thing up, it actually does turn on. So it's just fantastic. Right now it doesn't look like it has any of the glitches. Well, maybe a little bit. You can see kind of right there. There's a couple of little glitches in it, but other than that, I mean, it's fantastic. you know. I don't have a steering wheel and I don't have the pedals wired up for it at this time, but I do have an Namco steering wheel and I do have a set of pedals, which I'm hopefully planning on wiring up when I get a chance. And I'd like to put this in maybe a homemade cab or something, you know, seeing as it's not exactly the most common board to find here in Japan, but it is working and it is a classic game. But just figured I'd share this with you guys, and like I said, huge thanks to everyone who's pulled together and tried to find out any information, you know, whether it be on the Atari version of this or whether it be on the Namco version of Pole Position 2. But I will definitely leave a link to the posting that I received from River Bridge Wind, and I'll leave that down there so anyone else in the future here who decides to hook up one of these Namco boards or finds one of these Namco Pole Position 2 boards can actually wire it up and hopefully not have too much trouble with it, because that site was extremely helpful. But yeah, sorry about the lack of sound, but at least you can see that the demo mode is going through and it is working well. But yeah, just want to share this with you guys, and another board resurrected here from the dead, and it's all thanks to you guys. So that's about all for me for right now. Like always, I'll put up another video here soon, so thanks for watching.